Greetings, everyone in the universe and beyond.
Ooh, what's beyond?
I don't know. Beyond our little cube here where the four of us sit.
This isn't
Where are
everything.
those beyond are listening?
I thought
How's
this was
everybody
it.
doing today? This is not it.
Oh,
Just telling you. There's
I'm
more
doing
than just
okay.
this.
Work has started to lighten up, so I'm not as tired as I've been the
I
last.
disagree
few
with
weeks.
that. I disagree with that because your text messages like suck. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
damn,
No,
dude.
well, I mean, it's the holiday season.
You're a great friend 95% of the year. This is the last 5% of the year.
Please
Like, it's
describe these sucky texts.
Yeah,
I'm very
yeah, what does that
curious what
mean?
this is.
He means like I haven't really texted a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go through the last text
Frequency is
messages.
missing.
Yeah, so he it did kind of pick up a little bit. We did actually play a few games. So we were playing 8-ball pool.
Spoiler alert! I think
a
I
bit.
was off those days.
I think you were off those days, so. But other than that, I didn't really hear from him at all on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I think.
Yep. Because I went back to work on Thursday.
Yeah, and so like, and normally Roy and I text like daily, you know. So yeah, if you think about it, and then I sent him a text on Sunday. That's when it kind of picked up a little bit, and I told him that I got the Pixel, or I tweeted or I sent him a picture of the Pixel 6 and the bezel of me holding it, and he goes, "You already sent me that," and so I sent him a picture of me holding the Pixel to prove that I got it.
So I was gonna say, Zoe can tell what days you work, Roy, because she'll be like, "Oh, looks like Roy finished his rings today," or "Oh, Roy didn't finish his rings today." So it's like one or the other.
Yeah, try doing a Tell her to try doing a competition with him. He cheats.
Oh no, it's on. I'm gonna send her a competition request right now.
Wait,
I mean,
are you off for the next 2 days? You should maybe wait.
I know. No, I'm gonna do it now just to prove a point. I am off the next 2 days, but I'm gonna do it now just to prove a point.
No, he's just doing it because he's off the next 2 days.
No, I don't normally close my rings as easily on when I'm off because I don't move around as much because I want to relax on my days off. Because I mean I walk and move around so much on my work days.
Yeah, he doesn't. He gets very few steps on his non-work days. So I can, but on his work days, he like crushes it. Like he just don't stand a chance. I can't. I don't remember what our hold on. Let me look and see what our stats are at. I think I've only won I think I've only won a handful of time. Where do you see the competitions? Here we go. 10-4. I've won 4 times.
Impressive record. And it's about the points, right? Like, Roy, you have, because you've done so many more steps just in general, you have a harder time closing your rings, but by doing that, you get more points. Is that what it was?
For every percentage you fill up your ring, you get a points. Up to, what is it, 600 points a day or something like that?
Yeah, maxed out at 600.
To give you an idea, last Thursday, which is my first day back to work, I did 12.5K steps. The next day I did a little over 16K, 15.5 the next day. But on my days off, 1,113 and then 4,741. So it is a huge drop off on my days off. Like I have to motivate myself and get up and move. And usually the competitions are what does it. And I got to say, Matt, you know, you talked about how crappy my text messages were and I was busy. To Matt's own benefit here, I don't know if benefits where I'm looking for, but if he doesn't hear from me, he always checks in with me and asks me if everything's going okay because he hasn't heard from me in a couple days.
That's high key, really sweet.
I appreciate that because when I get super busy, like work's all I'm focused on, like it's draining mentally, like super mentally draining. And for him to check in on me, it means a lot.
Yeah, and Roy and I generally have a mentor session type thing, a one-on-one during the week where we can go over his code and stuff like that. And like we haven't really done that this week, but like
We
to be
haven't done it
honest,
since
like
before Thanksgiving.
we haven't because you've been so slammed since after Thanksgiving. I haven't even wanted to try. But yeah, like we used to touch base. We had the Gooply cast and then we had that. So we talked fairly regularly, but I always make sure he's all right because I should start demanding proof of life.
That retail during the holiday season hasn't consumed him.
You should. Like, I mean,
Take a picture of the newspaper, today's newspaper.
Yep. Go to the customer service stand and grab a newspaper and hold it up. Take a picture of it. I want proof of life.
In our household, we do whenever we're like it's like maybe a quiet night and all the pets are like sleeping around or doing whatever, we'll do a live check where I'll just go around to each pet and kind of check and make sure they're still alive and breathing. Like a live check. Grab like maybe move Nelson around a little bit because sometimes Nelson you move his head around and he doesn't wake up and then you're like, hey, wake, are you alive? And then he'll like finally wake up.
Charlie's like that. 11 will get up if you call her, but Charlie likes to lay under the blankets all day long and sleep, and he will literally lay under the blankets and sleep all day. So you have to, and even if you call him, sometimes he won't get up. You'll have to go rattle the blankets and try to see if he moves. So, yeah. Anybody else do anything fun and exciting this weekend? Mr. Carter, did you have something that you did this weekend or an event that happened this weekend?
Yes, got back to D&D. It's been months since me and my D&D crew played.
That's not what I was talking about. Did you turn 21?
Awesome.
Did you turn 21 again this weekend?
I'm finally legal to get kicked out of bars. I'm super excited. Didn't go into any bars yet. I really want to case the place, pick the right one, go in, just make an absolute fool of myself. So, Matt, if you have any recommendations on which bars are good to get thrown out of, just let me know. Roy, you too. Same with you, Tim.
Don't go to Cowgirls.
I was like, have I ever been kicked out of a bar? I don't think I've ever been kicked out of a bar.
I think I've been kicked out of concerts, but never bars.
Yeah.
And I've never been to a concert. I could do a double whammy on that.
True. Just go to a concert where crowd surfing isn't acceptable, and then crowd surf.
Wait, no. Hold up a second. Have you really never been to a concert?
Okay, no. I mean, I was at one very small one before the pandemic, but I've never been. It was like a single performer. I've never been to a big one at a big venue with like a band and like a giant mob of people. So like an official concert.
Didn't we, in like 2014, didn't our friend group go see like a Zelda orchestra thing?
I guess
that counts.
Yeah, we did do that. That counts?
That counts.
Okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, when I think concert, I think like going, there being like a mosh pit going or something. That's what I think of when I think concert.
That's what I pictured too. But we were at Benaroya Hall, and it was like a live orchestra.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I say it counts.
You're like sitting the entire time. There's not a bar going that you can go sit in or go stand in and listen to the music. It doesn't count.
All people dressed up in suits and nice clothes and stuff like that instead of t-shirts and lighting lighters and holding them up.
Nothing's getting ripped off at a majestic Legend of Zelda. No, Final Fantasy concert. That's what it was. Final Fantasy. Distant Worlds. Yeah, it was
one of the first concerts that I went to that I got free tickets to when I worked in radio was Britney Spears. And I sat front row to her at the Tacoma Dome, she literally was on a platform at the top that she went up on, and then she jumped off, and like it was like a bungee cord type thing, and like just landed like literally right in front of us, and people were trying to grab her and everything else.
That's amazing. I will say that I'm always impressed by how much like cardio and acrobatics singers do on stage. Like
For
when they get
real.
really into it for the performance.
I'm actually
super impressed.
But I'm actually I think concerts are kind of lame. Like that was probably one of the most impressive concerts I've been to for the movement and stuff. To jump off a platform, and stuff like that was impressive.
You're going to the wrong
and then-
concerts, big man.
Yes, I guess.
Matt needs the death-defying feats.
But I went and saw Aerosmith in
Well, yeah,
Vegas.
they're 80.
That
Of course, they're lame.
Oh god.
If you're not going to like El Corazon or one of the show boxes, you're probably not going to the right kind of concert there.
You
probably,
know,
probably.
I've gone to a lot of concerts in a lot of different cities, and I've never seen a venue that I've liked as much as the Showbox at the Market. I miss that venue. It's so good.
It is a beautiful venue.
It's
like we're talking
gorgeous.
just like the way it looks. Like it does not look like it should be the type of concert hall that happens there.
No.
It looks like it should. It looks like it should be a ballroom. It probably was a ballroom at one point in time.
Hard agree.
But it is a fantastic. I like the way that it's set up because it's got the two bars in the back sides, and there's tables there, and there's kind of a ledge, and you can kind of sit at the ledge. So
Yep.
if you wanted to kind of have a seat while the whole like pit area in front of you is there, you still have a good view of the stage. Obviously, you got your drinks there. It's better than the Showbox Soto because their beer garden is like, it's like you have this big rectangular room, and then you have this other room that's not walled off to the side, and that's where like their alcohol is served, and it's not good for viewing the concert.
100%.
I'm checking
And
out
El
the pictures to the
Corazon has
venue
a
right
weird-
now. Very beautiful. Just
Oh yeah,
just wanted to throw that
it's
in there.
gorgeous.
Yeah. But El Corazon, you were saying?
It's got an even weirder beer garden or liquor area because like if you have the stage up here in like the general admission area, it's not even really big, it's really small. The beer area is like off in the corner, like in the front corner off to the side over here. Like I'm not even sure you can really see the stage very well from there, but it's a really small venue. I've been to a couple concerts there, and I'm surprised how many people they can pack into that itty bitty
really
room because
can.
like it's like the size of the Alderwood electronics department. Like we're like a standing room. It's like that big. It's super small, and they pack it in tight. And there's like beams all over the place.
Yeah, structural
There's
beams
at
and
least
shit.
one beam. Yeah.
That's the venue I got kicked out of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a like
Oh,
progressive.
this is that dingy building by the REI.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude.
yes, it
That's
is.
that building.
It's a great concert hall. It really is.
It's great. I was at a progressive metal concert there, and like it was a really chill event, and I decided to make it significantly less chill, and they were just like, "No, you gotta fucking go, dude. You're out." It's a really great venue, though. I like it. It's comfy.
One time.
It's-
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
One time I was at a PAX in I was at Benaroya Hall waiting for a panel to start, and I was one of the first people in there, and I was sitting pretty like in the middle, and then a few rows in front of me there was a big group of people, and one of the guys wanted to move up to row in front of him, but he was in the middle and he didn't want to walk all the way around, so he hopped the seat and got into the front row, and as soon as he did that, security came running down and grabbed him and kicked him out. It's like
Unlucky.
it didn't even start. The panel didn't even start, and he got kicked out.
Imagine, like, I feel like getting kicked out of a concert is one thing, but imagine getting kicked out of a panel. Like, what?
A bad look.
Tim, you should come work PAX with me next year.
Maybe.
Like,
Is it like
come work PAX?
I heard years ago? I looked into it, and I heard it was not great because, well, you didn't get paid at the time, and you get free passes, which seemed like a plus because this was at the point where PAX tickets were selling out in 30 seconds because that was when League of Legends was there. And since they're no longer there, PAX doesn't sell it as quickly anymore. So it's like, it seems better.
You work at PAX, you get paid $15 an hour because you get paid minimum wage. It ends up being like $330 you get paid for the weekend. Okay. You have to work, I think it's a 5-hour shift. And if you work the morning shift, that first hour starts an hour before the convention opens. So you only have to work for 4 hours during the convention being open. While you're there, your workstation, like I work up in console free play, which is where I've been working the last 3 years. There's snacks and drinks that you can just have whatever you want, whenever you want while you're working. Oh, you want some orange juice or bottled water or apple juice or some vitamin water or Gatorade? It's all yours. You want some snacks, goldfish, fruit snacks, whatever you want. It's all there. Donuts, trail mix, sure. You get you can go to Eland, which is like the enforcer break room that's over in the Sheraton, and they got even more snacks and food that you can have as much as you want whenever you want. You get a free 30-minute massage from a licensed masseuse during the weekend. I'm not joking. I am not joking. Everybody can sign up for one 30-minute session. They bring in 4 to 5 licensed masseuses. They didn't do it this last year because of COVID, obviously. They didn't even have Eland open because of COVID. But they bring in the masseuses. It's happened every single year. You can sign up for one 30-minute session. You get a lunch ticket or one free item from whatever that smoothie place is at the downstairs in the convention center where they sell like the rice bowls. You can have one free item out of there a day. So that's like your lunch if you really wanted it to be your lunch. What else? Snacks, all that free food, licensed massage. You get your entry into PAX, obviously. There's a special enforcer entrance now that they go through metal detectors that you can go into and there's no line. You just go.
Oh wow!
All you have to have is your enforcer badge.
Okay.
To get into that line. So I mean, all of this, and you get into PAX for free, and all you have to do is sacrifice, if you work the morning shift, 4 hours of the convention being open.
Yeah.
So I mean, as long as you're not dying to do one thing at PAX, like play Final Fantasy VII remake demo or something like that, you're fine. Like you just have to sacrifice that there might be something that you cannot do because you're working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds nice to do. If I got to, do you get to choose what you want to? Because I would love to work in the main theater with the like, I don't know. I've always wanted to do like the cameras or anything.
So
like
I mean, I'm not quite sure what the jobs would be in the theater. I've never worked theater. I do have a friend that's worked in one of the theaters. She worked in the Paramount this last year. And their shifts are structured differently. Obviously, you're not going to start at the same time because they don't open up the theaters until later on in the day. But yeah, I mean, when you do your application and they tell you that you get accepted, once they open up shift preferences, at that point you choose your shift preferences of your most wanted shift time to your least wanted shift time, and what jobs you want to do or where you want to work, like console free play or theater or line entertainment or whatever. And you rank that and you can put in 5 choices from your most wanted to your least wanted. And then you say, do you care more about your shift time or do you care more about your job choice? And that they kind of weigh all that together. And then like a few weeks later, they put out a spreadsheet for everybody and you can find out where you're going to work and what shift you're going to work.
Okay. I feel like working concerts would be super fun. So that's like one of my favorite things of PAX is the concerts.
I mean, you're going to get into the concert number 1.
Yeah.
You're probably going to work, closer to the afternoon and evening, which gives you time on the expo room or expo hall floor if you want to go do something in expo. It just, once the expo hall closes at 5, it just kind of dies down on what you could possibly do if you have to work during that time. You might miss out on the evening panels, but then again, the concerts are the most fun in the evening anyway.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sweet gig if you're willing to sacrifice part of your time at PAX.
Yeah, it seems super enticing.
You sound like a really good deal, especially since, I don't know, PAX has gotten a lot more organized, like year after year, and the fact that they pay enforcers now, finally. The one thing that I'd be worried about is like did they adjust how enforcers can interact with people putting on the convention? Like, was there some kind of like swag special day or special time or something like that? Because I heard that enforcers had like a special hour or something where they got to meet devs or meet people opening the booths or something. Does that sound familiar?
To my knowledge, not really. I mean, they ask for volunteers the first couple days before the convention opens to help come in and set up. And I mean, at that point, you could be doing anything anywhere. I went in there a couple years ago and helped set up the Paramount opening day of PAX. They needed some extra enforcers. It was before Bethesda's this was right before Borderlands 3 came out. So Bethesda's panel, we helped go in and finish setting up the Paramount. So I did get to talk to a couple of the people that were working for Bethesda there. But I mean, I don't know quite what you're getting at. But yeah, I mean, there are opportunities to meet some of these devs and these people, the the exhibitors. And then of course on the last day of PAX, you get to close down Expo Hall, and then they have an after party either that night or the next night just for enforcers, and all of the leftover swag is up for grabs.
That sounds exactly like what I was talking about.
Do
I think
they,
someone told me about that.
Do they make you do teardown?
They do not make you do teardown or setup. If you are able to do teardown and setup, you're more than welcome to. You get paid for that, of course. You know, it's extra pay. So like my 330 that I get is literally just for the convention itself. I don't usually do the setup or teardown because I don't usually have the time for it. Not only that, but if you're there when they close the expo hall at 5, you can throw your enforcer strip back on and go up and help close down the hall. They basically just form one big line of enforcers and just push everybody that way, and you get paid for that if you go and help out with that. So there's opportunity to do other things to earn extra money, but outside of your actual shift you sign up for, nothing is forced.
That's dope. The one time I worked at PAX with a third party, I had to do teardown, and it made me dislike working at PAX. So to know that the actual PAX workers have an option, that's really awesome.
Yeah, there's usually not a shortage of enforcers that are willing to come. I mean, they will always take whoever's willing to come and help, but there's usually never a shortage of people to get the job done.
What year did you start working?
I've worked the last 3 PAXs, so and I have a length of service pin for every year that I've worked. Obviously, we didn't have one in 2020, so I have what is that? I have 2018, 2019. I'm missing my 2020, and I have my 2021 pin.
There was 1 year of PAX. I think it was. I want to say it was 2012. That was. I don't know if you remember this, Matt, but were you there at PAX 2012, Matt?
I know PAX by the games that were announced and came out the year, but I don't remember
Okay.
if I was there or not.
There was 1 year in particular. The organizers of PAX wanted to see if people would, if people built their own swag bags, if people would take less things, because they normally the swag bags are all pre-packed for everyone to just grab.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
FYI, no swag bags
They
anymore.
okay, but back then they did. Like, this was back when the swag bags were like really good. Like, it had T-shirts and game codes and like just a bunch of cool stuff. But this particular year, they wanted to see if everyone built their own swag bags, if people would be less wasteful and only take what they actually want rather than wasting everything. And so they took the I don't remember the name of the room, but it's the one where the lines used to be, where before PAX would start, you would line up in this one giant room.
The queue room.
The queue room. And they turned that into the swag bag line. And it was literally, I think, an hour and a half of waiting in line for the swag bag. And it was the longest line ever for it. And I remember,
that sounds horrible.
I was like, what is wrong? Like, I was really confused why they did that. And then the next year, I guess one of the organizers of PAX posted on Reddit saying, yeah, we wanted to see if people would take less stuff. Turns out the answer was no. Everyone took everything no matter what. And it was a horrible mess, and we're never doing that again.
I do remember the swag bag change up, because in like the years that I was going where they just gave out the swag bags, people would try and just grab multiples of them, or like come back through and grab swag bags again, because like the game codes people wanted, the magic cards people wanted. So it was just like people would come and harvest it, and then they did change it up so that stuff wouldn't get wasted, like you said. But I mean, people still have to go in there. I don't know. You just grab whatever you want. You don't look at it and then you throw it away later. You don't care.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to where, like, if you wanted to get magic cards, you had to go to where Magic was handing out the little starter decks or something, which was not in the main convention hall. It was like across in a separate building. And I don't know. I feel like that changing the layout so that people had to go to different places made like the swag bag building, I think, less attractive, but I'm not even sure how much that changed. But
there was one time this at the convention center, the Washington State Convention Center, I had to go at my previous company, we had a printer at a convention at the convention center, and they're like, "You're gonna have to go get the truck, and you have to go pick up the printer." And I was like, really confused because I've first of all never have gone to the loading docks for the convention center, which I learned it's on the other side of the street. Like, you know how the convention center is built above the freeway? On the other side of the freeway, there's this sketchy road that you go down, and then there's this like big gated gate, and you pull up, there's like a security worker there.
This already
And-
sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, you pull up, and then they open this giant gate, and then it goes up this hill over the freeway, like right underneath the convention. Like, actually, no, I'm sorry. It goes up over the convention center, and then on the where the sky bridge is, you can't really see it, but there's a giant. There's like 30 dock height doors that you back your truck up to. Which I always was curious what it was like there at the convention center, but then all the doors were open and we walked in, and I'm like, whoa, this is the expo hall.
And I feel like it looks.
I know the area you're talking about, but for some reason I always thought that you could get there from like the parking garage area, because you can get up
Yeah.
to the third floor of the convention center from the parking garage or something like that.
I think so. I gotta find pictures, see if I can find
The whole
I gotta,
area, it looks weird on the inside from what you would think it is on the outside. That is for
It's-
sure.
It's really weird. Like, I had my mind blown when I went there, because I'm like, I've gone to PAX for years, and I never like even thought about, hey, how do they load all this crap in or load it out, or where's the parking area for their trucks.
Yeah, like the cars and the 2-story statues and like all the lights and everything.
Like, you never really think about it, and then I gotta find this
That's the
Tree
magic of it.
right.
You just go there, you have an incredible amount of fun for a couple days, and you let everybody else worry about where it all goes and what containers it.
Exactly.
And then so like a lot of developers and stuff just don't want to even take that stuff back with them. So you find some developers or like booth people who are running the booths that are just like giving stuff away on the last day because they just don't want to like ship it back or cart it back all the way to where they come
All
from.
that
So
swag is free for the enforcers on the day or the after party because nobody wants to take that stuff home.
it's very enticing. Oh my god.
Did you notice I changed out my pop filter here?
I did. It looks much better.
Yeah, I really like that look. Nice, and it contrasts really well and matches the accents.
Get rid of that. Get rid
Nice.
of that.
Well
That
done.
looks fake now.
It does. Yeah, get rid of it.
Tim, you need one for yours, right?
He does.
Yeah. I
Look at
do.
it. It's pop filterless.
They also
Oh.
have one within the mic on Yetis, so
Oh.
I don't have one on mine on the outside.
But it's just cooler, like
Is it?
to have one on it. I think.
I get that. You get some more customization. Shit, like that's cool.
I was reading about it, and the reason I went with one wasn't because I needed a pop filter. It's not like I'm doing a bunch of talking and singing and loud noises that would require a pop filter. But the thing that I read was using a foam pop filter decreases the amount of saliva that ends up on your microphone, therefore deteriorating your microphone over time. It gives better longevity to the mic.
I bought a
Sounds like,
Yeti. I'm not worried about
alright.
the longevity.
Any final thoughts before we go into the
Really quick.
before or
I found it. So if you go to maps, there's
Maps.
I-5 right there. Maps. There's I-5. And there's this like back road here. Kind of sketchy. And if you look, there's this giant garage door right here. And then this is the
Oh, yeah.
loading dock.
I've seen it.
access.
I've seen it from I-5. You can see
Yeah.
it down there.
You go up there, and it's like this super steep hill. You go up,
Huh.
and then it takes you to the if you go to like, yeah, dang it. It's like, yeah, it takes you right here. So this is like a parking garage right here, or like a giant loading dock area.
Hmm.
It's super crazy.
Yeah, because there's the Sky Bridge, because there's the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes. And then, yep, I think this is it. Tell. Oh no, I think it's right. Yeah, right here. I'm sorry, it's right here. So this is right next to the Sky Bridge. There's another bridge that's for trucks. And then this is all like loading docks. Pretty nifty.
Alrighty.
Uh.
Any last thoughts before we get into the Gooplecast?
Well, I think we'll save the last words for Activision.
Alrighty.
Badooch.
Android and iPhone users welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, these phones don't even support podcasting, bro. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Gooplecast. Here's your host, Matthew Carter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gooplecast. We're live right now on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. If you can't make our live show, grab our audio-only version. Find it on all of your favorite Android and iOS podcasting apps, as well as Facebook podcasts. With us tonight is I Spy Air founder Matt Evans. Hey, Matt.
Greetings.
Greetings. Also joining us is Product Red Extraordinaire, Roy Slapinski. Hey, Roy.
I feel like I leveled up with this new intro for me. I've got to figure out what I need to do for the next level.
Oh my gosh.
The thing I just noticed though is that on the image, like I can see the microphone down there, but you can't see the microphone. All you see is the top of the microphone. There you go.
Should I just hold
There's
this right here all night?
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah,
MKBHD version.
It does. That's what I was just thinking. Now that you say that kind of does look like it. He just brought back I think a red sweatshirt or something.
His hoodie, yeah.
It's so crisp. We also have and are honored by the presence of Cooking with Tim host Chef Tim Van Claveren. Hey, Tim.
Hello.
We need to get an audio track.
We
of
do
an
not.
applause when
Oh,
a
shit.
round of applause.
I'm on it.
Yes.
With us tonight, directing the show, is, as always, executive gamer Joseph Meacham. Hey, Joe.
What's up, gamers? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be talking about one thing that I think everybody would expect, and one thing that is seems incredibly heinous.
Did you guys see the title of what I posted for this? Joe did. I don't know if you guys saw it. Is the season to be laid off?
Oh, yes.
Man. That's the story that I think is probably the most heinous. One of the most heinous stories that I've seen really all year. And Matt, I hadn't heard about this until you shared it. Did you want to give like a little bit about
Let's go into the Zoom first. Because I find this very, very wrong, and I find this very, very terminating people is never great. It's never great, and stuff like that. And to do it on a Zoom call just seems totally inappropriate. And yeah. So the CEO of Better.com fired.
Which, by the way, have you guys heard of Better.com at all before?
I didn't.
Never.
And I know what it is now. And did you hear about it before?
I had no idea what it was.
Neither did I. The only thing I've heard of is Better Dev, and he's a YouTuber and does YouTube videos. But Better.com is a like online mortgage company, I think it is, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyways, I just didn't want to give them any traffic to their website, to count towards that, because but anyways, the CEO of Better.com fired 900 people on a pre-holiday Zoom call, basically telling them that 15% of their workforce is being cut, and they were in the lucky 15% of it. Bunch of people on there did it, and the recorded it. It ended up on YouTube and
all over social
TikTok.
media. Everybody's incredibly angry that it happened.
As I was researching this morning or today, there was an article that I came across that I'm going to see if I can find it. It's from Business Insider. Don't know if it's true or whatnot, but it says Better.com CEO accuses hundreds of the 900 employees that he laid off on Zoom calls of stealing by only working 2 hours a day.
What?
Yeah. Like...
So not only do you fire 900 people in a really it was very unemotional. It was very building it up as if he can't possibly imagine firing anybody right now, but giving the flattest delivery.
Oh,
of
by
that
the way, you're
statement ever.
thieves and you suck.
It was
it was after, and it's like you guys. It's something. I don't know where this came from. This is a quote in the post, but it says, "You guys know that 250 of the people who are terminated are working an average of 2 hours a day, while clocking in for an average of eight hours plus a day in the payroll system. They were essentially stealing time from our customers who pay our bills and get our bills paid. So, but apparently he wrote that in an email or something. It says a blind post. But anyways, yeah, I mean that's a big accusation to make, and then right after that, I think he gave a live stream to the rest of the employees calling what the vision of Better 2.0 is. Ben, and I also heard that they just received $100,000 in cash to funnel them through to get them public. So
yeah, some company is going to help them go public, and they've been receiving deposits of money, I think, all throughout since May when it happened. But right before this firing, what they received $750 million in cash as part of a deal, and then they're going to go public, and then they're going the company is prepared to have more than $1 billion on its balance sheet. So it doesn't look like the company is hurting right now.
It doesn't. And I mean, you don't see him probably taking a payroll cut, to help people out. I know CEOs who during this pandemic, took payroll cuts in order to keep their employees online. One of the big around here is Brown Bear Car Wash, and they kept all their employees on during lockdown when they couldn't open, and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, and CEOs took pay cuts, and stuff like that in order to do that. Executive teams took payroll cuts to do that. So it's discouraging that they did it, and to do it over Zoom, in a context that it's a pre-holiday call. They're there to gather for a holiday call, and then they find out they're being let go. And they shared in the video what the terms were, and I think it was you get paid 4 weeks of severance, and then you get a month worth of healthcare, and then they're paying 2 months of Cobra premium or something like that.
That's not even
but
good.
Depending on how yeah, exactly. But depending on how long you've been there, if you've been there for years, yeah. So anyways, it's been making news all across the things. I've seen it all over social media today, and over the weekend, and I was totally shocked at this, and just the
video, which I think everybody should watch for just how to not fire anyone, but also how not to fire 900 people at once. It was incredibly offensive watching the guy make his statements, and then he's like, "This is the second time in my career I'm doing this, and I do not want to do it."
He said, "The first time I cried. This time I'm going to try and be stronger."
What? You're not emotional about losing this many employees at all? Somehow not being like empathetic to the situation that you are instigating for all your employees. It isn't strong. I don't understand. And then to come out and say and to accuse people of like stealing after you've already kicked them with like barely any warning out of their jobs. Super scummy thing to do. Super scummy thing to do.
Yeah. No, I totally think it was the wrong way to do it, and it sucks for every one of those 900 plus people who were fired. But yeah.
And apparently the guy has been involved in controversy before on CNN Business. There's an email that he sent to staff that Forbes got where he says, "You are too damn slow. You are a bunch of dumb dolphins. So stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. You are embarrassing me." I don't know the context that email was sent in, but it seems like if bullying isn't something he's used to, it seems like he is really good at it in the short term.
I want to say there's going to be a CEO change here in the near future. I mean, just like, do you really think the investors are going to want to invest in a company like this? Like,
Well, that's exactly
no.
it. Once you go public and you now have to answer to the masses that have invested money in you, something like this is going to cause your stocks to plummet
Mm.
based on just the PR downfall or on this. He will not last as CEO. If he stays on as CEO after they go public, he won't last long. Like this is not how you run a publicly traded company, not like that. I'm not saying that you don't ever have to lay off 900 people because sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to make the tough calls. But there's
Yeah.
a way to do it and a way to do it correctly, and there's a time to do it. Doing it right for the holidays, never a good time to do it. Never a good time. There's no company that will ever look good while firing employees right for the holidays. Just not going to happen.
So I just because I was looking at articles on there, and there's this picture of the CEO, and he says he threatened to burn his business partner alive, and now he's a billionaire. This is from August 19th, 2021. And it's from the Daily Beast. So I mean, I don't know if it's true, but
And it's hard to take those things, hear them and not have the context surrounding them, because like separate from this event, if I heard something like that and I wasn't aware, I could be like, oh, this guy is saying some incendiary things about his coworkers. That's not good. But I don't know what his level of humor is and what's acceptable in their workplace. As a CEO, I think maybe those aren't the things that you want to be heard saying. But also in the
2021
context,
though.
it is
Yeah.
2021 though, and we've seen the way he fires people. So my vote is on consistent bad behavior.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I mean, when you're, I don't know. I don't see the company lasting even if they go. I mean, this is pretty like, this is pretty horrible thing to do during this, and when you're flooding the media right now and all of these, articles are flying through there, it's going to be hard to do it. People are going to remember it too, because better.com, like, they're going to be like, maybe they'll be looking for a home like Roy is, and maybe down the line they'll see an advertisement for.
I'm not using better.com.
Well,
Not
no, but
happening.
I'm just saying these people might see that and they'll go, oh, isn't that the company that fired people during the holiday season, right before the holiday, and did it over Zoom and then accused them of stealing? Like, come on.
Listen, if you make Tim Sweeney look like a better CEO than you, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like, I mean, Tim Sweeney is all that, but this guy is pretty horrible. So
Sweeney wouldn't fire you before the holiday season over Zoom.
yeah,
Bet he would.
so,
Tim Sweeney would fire me on Christmas Day.
he would do it at 2:00 in the morning over an email.
He would wake my kids up dress as Santa Claus and say, "Ho ho ho, you're fired." That's what Tim Sweeney would do. I'm dead convinced.
But
And you have like Fortnite
yeah.
characters dancing in the background.
Yeah.
And he'd give them like Fortnite bucks, V-bucks as he's doing it. He's like, ho ho ho, you're fired. Take your V-bucks.
Here's your severance package.
And Tim Sweeney would know that the video of that would get leaked on social media. He'd be waiting
He'd
for
leak it
it.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be proud of it.
2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning. He'd be sending out that email before. I wonder if his lawyers just contacted, because we haven't seen any late night emails from him in the morning. I wonder if his lawyers contacted the IT department and said, cut off his email from 9 o'clock at night until 7 o'clock in the morning. No emails. If he sends an email, hold it till 7 a.m.
Tunnel
Ooh,
all
yes.
his emails to the lawyers first.
The lawyers have to hit an approve button to approve his email.
They have a specific flag in their email that says Tim Sweeney message, read immediately.
Probably has a push notification on their phone that pops up and it's like, oh, Tim sent out an email, guys. Who's on call this weekend? Oh, this guy needs some legal advice, I think, on better approaches to approach people. So anyways, hope that it couldn't be I hate getting laid off is no good, but right now is actually a really good time to be laid off because there's lots of jobs openings and stuff like that. So hopefully these 900 employees will get something here in the future and get onto a better role where they have a better CEO that takes care of them.
And I would imagine that, especially now when the housing industry is doing really well, it would at least relieve some stress to know that.
When you say the housing market is doing well, for
If you're
sellers,
for
not
sellers,
for buyers.
exactly.
For buyers, it is a horrible market. You have to
Yes.
outbid everybody. You have to not even look at what you like. You don't even have time to tour properties. You don't have a time to get proper inspections done. You have to throw out more than the asking value because that's what everybody else is doing. It is not good for buyers right now.
No.
The sellers
You have to spend as much as you're comfortable with, and then go a little bit above that. So there's no room for someone to snake it from you if that's possible. It's not good.
So on to the other topic, which kind of crosses over into this topic. I thought was a good idea, and that's the Call of Duty workers that walked out in protest. Go ahead.
Which I find very interesting. So it's Ravensoft that works on Call of Duty Warzone. Current employees at the studio walked out or called out in protest of layoffs that affected contract QA testing positions that were let go last week, but the walkout happened today, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. And the people aren't being terminated. At least Activision got it right, because these people aren't even actually being terminated until the end of January. They at least have their jobs through the holiday season. I mean, it's still a horrible time to announce, don't get me wrong, but at least they're not like, you're gone.
And it did say in the article on The Verge that they're bringing in 500 of the temporary workers to full time in the coming months.
No, that was at the other studio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. That's that. Yeah, you're right.
So you have Raven Software, which is the department that has the QA, or the studio that has the QA, the quality assurance. They're the ones that are being laid off. And what is it, Tachyon or something like that?
It was Treyarch.
Treyarch. That's it. I knew it started with a T. That's the one that's bringing all of the contract people to full-time positions. Both of these companies work for and are owned. I'm not sure if Raven Software is owned by, but Treyarch is owned by Activision, and they work on Call of Duty games. And if you guys aren't familiar with the way that Activision has their Call of Duty games developed, is they usually have two studios working on Call of Duty games, and they alternate their releases. So Treyarch will work on one, and that'll release, and the next Call of Duty game will be released by somebody else. And that's why there for a while we had like the Modern Warfare series and the Black Ops series. The Modern Warfare series was done by Infinity Ward, and the Black Ops was done by
Treyarch.
yes, sorry, I don't know why I spaced on that. And that's kind of how the way that Activision works for their Call of games. That way they can kind of simultaneously be developing games and not devoting too many resources from one of their studios at a time.
So it's 20 of the QA employees at the Raven Software that are being terminated. And
So
again,
it's actually
yes, on
12 at
July.
Ravensoft and 8 other testers that were just separately let go throughout Activision Blizzard's studios. And the Ravensoft employees, though, were just kind of dismissed without a clear explanation, which really frustrated Ravensoft and the employees. I'm not sure what the reason for the other testers was, though. I couldn't find that.
Now,
Yeah,
before
I see
anybody's
that now.
like 12 employees, that's not a whole lot. That's 30% of their QA workforce, which
Yeah.
12 employees, not a whole lot, but 30% of their QA workforce. And this is on their Warzone game, which brings in how much a day? It brings in like $5.2 million a day. $5.2 million a day. Now, this is a game that is already released out in public to be played. Development's done on it. Basically, at this point, your QA is there to make sure that bugs aren't happening, things are getting patched correctly. The main money to build this game is done. At this point, it's just maintenance, and that's what your QA for is. And you're telling me that you can't afford 12 employees on your $5.2 million a day.
Yeah, no, it's again, it's another company that is prioritizing money over employees, and it's yeah, I mean, they're also facing a lawsuit for sexual harassment too, so and that's in California, I wanted to say.
Yeah, the
Was
state of
that right?
California.
Yeah, state of California. So I mean, you just, I hope that there's more companies out there. And I was reading a job description, or I was looking or hearing about a job description earlier in the day about a company, and they want to create a stressful work environment for you. One job posting that I found was for a senior software developer, and it was basically you work 9 to 3, and you're discouraged from clocking on before that and working later than that. Like
Oh.
they want you to be most productive, and they want you to be there. When they had lunches in the office and everybody came into the office, they encouraged you. They had free lunch and stuff like that, so they encouraged you to stick around for lunch. They catered in, did things like that on Fridays or something like that. But they had lots of great things, and it was just like they had team building exercises and stuff like that to try and motivate people and stuff like that. But I just there's a bunch of other companies out there that I've looked at, and video game companies and stuff like that, that just they want to encourage and make a better, successful life for their employees. And I wish there was more companies out there that did that, and I hope that someday there's CEOs out there that will transform this game industry and stuff like that, because literally, like Roy said, the game's done, but what happens if something breaks in it? You need to push out bugs and stuff like that to fix things. People rely on QA engineers to make the game better and maintain maintenance of it.
Let's put it in a little bit of context, that is a little bit more relatable. Let's pretend that you make a smartphone. Okay, you're going to dump a lot of money into your R&D for this smartphone, and then you're going to push it out. Okay, and let's say that it has bugs like, I don't know, cellular connectivity bugs, or slow fingerprint reader, or stuff like that. If you don't have people out there working on QA to ensure that we can find these bugs and find them quickly, Yeah, I was hoping Tim would get my reference there.
Google, get with it.
If you don't
Good
have
Lord.
your QA people enough QA people and enough coders in place, you can't squash those bugs fast enough. And if you can't squash those bugs fast enough, the headlines keep circulating around the internet. This day and age, it doesn't take much. And the faster and more prevalent people see those headlines, the more less likely they are to utilize said product. So like in the case of the Pixel 6 with the cellular connectivity issue, if it's a software issue and Google can't fix it within a month, especially a month after launch, people are going to be less likely to buy that phone forever. Everybody remember when Assassin's Creed Unity launched? It was riddled with bugs and nobody wanted to play it. Now they fixed it. They patched out those bugs. They made the game playable finally. But the damage was done. I bought the game and I've literally never played it because like I heard how like horrible it was at launch, and even though I know it's fixed, I just have not felt the need to go and play it because that the whole stigma behind it, and that's what happens when you don't have the best Q&A team to begin with. I mean, this was bad at launch. Okay, obviously Warzones is already out, but they need their Q&A, their QA people to find those bugs, find them fast so they can get patched out before it becomes too big of a problem for the user base that makes people not want to play it. Because then your $5.2 million a day becomes a lot less.
Like Cyberpunk.
Yes, that is another
yeah.
great example.
I just recently I went to GameStop to actually buy it last week because they had it for $10. And when I walked in, the employee was like, "Are you buying it for Xbox One or the Series X?" And I'm like, "I'm getting it for the Series X." He's like, "Okay, good." I was about to refuse a sale because it does not run on Xbox One at all. Like, even though the game is advertised as it can play on Xbox One, it doesn't work. Yeah, which I thought was interesting that he was stopping in. And then like I went to Target and they were like, "Yeah, it's been discontinued at our Target." So like they stopped selling it entirely.
I'm gonna call out Tim Sweeney right now to pick up and hire these workers who are being terminated. To do the right thing, Tim Sweeney.
I thought you wanted them to have a better work environment, Matt.
I do, but I want them to have a job. You know, I don't think that I'm hoping
They
that
can
Tim
go work for
Sweeney.
Google and work with their quality assurance department because they need it.
They
Tim
do.
Sweeney-
They do. Google could pick them up too.
Someone tells Tim Sweeney that they might Apple might hire them, and he wants to beat them to the punch.
There you go. I mean, I love the Pixel, but Google needs to fix that crap.
Oh my god! Like literally, like today, all day long, I was sitting there for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes trying to get my stupid fingerprint to read, and then it wouldn't, and then it took me to the password screen, and I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me right now?"
Fingerprint
Like,
scanner sucks so much.
it is the worst. And
go.
here, I'm just gonna say it, to take out Face ID and not bring Face ID to it and put this shitty ass fingerprint scanner on the thing is just pretty shitty.
I'm gonna be honest. I enrolled my fingerprint twice on that phone, and after that, I didn't have any issues.
I should do that. I guess I should re-enroll my fingerprint. You know,
I did that.
I will.
I mean, I had my fingerprint enrolled twice, not like I re-enrolled. Like, no, I had 2 of the same fingerprint encoded into the security, and it worked fine for that.
Oh no.
I will say, like, when I was setting up the fingerprint, and maybe I need to redo my fingerprint, it took a long time compared to what I do on Apple. You know, when I had the fingerprint scanner on Apple, you know, it was a lot quicker, seamless, took way less time. It took me almost a little over a minute to set up my fingerprint on the Pixel.
I have a question for you then, both, I guess all of you guys, because you all use Apple. How often do you encounter on like a fully released hardware or fully released software, like day one or week one bugs? Like how often?
Not very often.
It happens, but it doesn't happen very often, and more than likely it's fixed before. Like there have been some, you know, like any software company that puts out software. I mean, there's been software that's gone out that's bricked phones or Apple Watches or devices, home pods, those type of things, you know, and they're quickly pulled and they're quickly fixed. Like literally like within hours of each other, they're fixed. And that's to a successful quality assurance team. And, you know, those engineers work their butt off to look for bugs and to fix it. I was working on a software project over the weekend looking for this damn bug. I could not figure out this damn bug. Like for the life of me, I was trying to figure it out. I was using single quotes or double quotes instead of single quotes. And it was like literally I was looking for this bug and I was like, everything is perfect. Like, why are you doing this? And literally, you know, so it's literally like, you know, when you have a bug in your software and it's released to the public and the public is having issues with that software, the QA team working with the engineers really dig down on it and fix the bugs so that they can push out an update right away.
Absolutely. And it's
to,
like
to
when
do
you have
to do that, to discover the bug, to get with the engineers to fix it, to retest it, to make sure that the bug is fixed. And like literally like some like with Google devices, like if you're doing a smartphone application, like literally making sure that the bug is fixed on every single device as well. You know, like going through, you know, like I have virtual devices on my computer. I can run software for different things. Same thing with Apple. I can run it on multiple different devices. So virtual devices, and then also live devices, you know, having those live devices there, putting it on there, seeing if the bug is there. Because the last thing you want to do is push out another bug, or you want to push out a software that still has a bug in it. You know, you want to fix those bugs and squash those bugs. Because like Roy said, you don't want the bad publicity to continue. You know, it's kind of like when Facebook went down, you know, and stuff like that. Like,
and I feel like as like updates, as consumers have come to expect updates to fix things, I feel like companies have maybe leaned more into shipping broken or buggy software. I know that with like video games, it seems that there's always a day one patch and there's always a significant number of bugs that you have to wait for the company to fix, or games that are promised to be something at launch but aren't, and then you have to wait for content update after content update, which might impose more bugs. I mean, even the Cyberpunk example, like they devoted a lot of attention to the next generation consoles and to PC, but it seems like they barely cared about, and also outright lied about the stability of the original Xbox version or the last generation console versions. And you want to pay people you want to pay quality assurance testers, you want to get them competent, you want to make sure that they're well supported, because they're the front line right in between your company and your customers. They're making sure that the customer experience is as best as possible right when it launches.
Well, if you remember, I think it was iOS, I can't remember if it was I want to say it was 14. They during the developer preview during the summer before they released it to the public, we all of a sudden got a like 14.1 developer preview before the release candidate was ever released. And that was basically because there was the first version was so buggy and they found that out. And I believe at that point it was too late because all the devices that were getting ready to ship were already preloaded with iOS 14 on it, and they needed to make sure that 14.1 was ready on launch day when the devices were available to the public, so that they could people could update immediately. I mean, that is what a good quality assurance team can do. You know, obviously things are going to happen, bugs are going to get by. It's going to continue to happen. It's always going to be a thing. But how fast your team can find that, isolate it, and react is what's important, and you cannot do that without a solid QA team. I mean, obviously you need solid developers, but you need a QA team that's solid.
And you have beta testers. I'm a beta tester for Apple software. Almost 90% of the time. Last year I waited. I don't remember when I updated, but I waited a while before I did the beta. But like when you have a beta team, that's out there for public betas and stuff like that, and software gaming developers do as well. But to rely on them to do all the bug fixes is not there. A lot of them, 90% of the people want to sit there and play the game first, and get that. Same thing with, Apple releasing iOS softwares and Google releasing Android softwares in beta. They want to play with the newest features first. They're not necessarily reporting those features. So while you have beta testers out there, you can't rely on beta testers to do everything. You need people who work 40 hours a week working on searching and finding these bugs and squashing them, because that is where the fixes come in and the stability of software relies on. So it'll be interesting to see if Call of Duty, has a major bug, and doesn't get squished because they don't have a good quality assurance team.
I would love for that to happen. I really want for that to happen.
There was a couple of years ago. I can't remember if I've told the story before. I probably have, but I used to do a lot more game testing for Microsoft back in the day. And one time I got invited out, and when you do a play test, they phone screen you and they ask you a bunch of questions, and you can kind of try and guess based off the questions they ask you and the answers and the honest answers that you give them based off of that, what kind of game you're going to be playing. They asked me a ton of like, what do you think about shooter games? What about 16-player multiplayer games? And I'm like, and they asked me these questions and I answered them truthfully, and they're like, we want you to come out to our studio at this date and time. Are you able to be there? It's like, yes. And I was like, the whole time, like, I hope it's Halo. I think it's going to be Halo. But then they bring you into a back room. They take away your phones and everything, of course. And then you sign NDA, which, of course, ended for me. But then they bring you into a back room, and there's the developers, and they're like, all right, you're going to be playing Halo 5. And the Halo 5 that we played was in very early alpha. Like... very early. Like, the game was running in Halo 4. Like, all the menus were Halo 4. It said Halo 4. Everything said Halo 4. And then even like the armor, everything was all like, it looked exactly like Halo 4. And then we started the game and it's Halo 5, and it was like the first time ever seeing gameplay of it, and it was just like super weird. It was very buggy. Like I guess one guy tried to customize his weapon loadout, and it crashed Xbox Live, their local Xbox Live network that they use for testing. And so like one of the 343 devs comes in, it's like, do not customize your loadout. There's the option there. Don't do it because it will break everything. And then like one person shot a rocket launcher at the other person, and like both their Xboxes crashed, and like they both blue screen, which I didn't realize was a thing you could do. And it was just like super duper early alpha of the game. But of course, the entire time you have developers literally watching over your shoulders the entire time. They have like cameras everywhere, and then you have to do all these surveys, and it's just like,
It doesn't even sound like fun anymore.
it's fun. It's like, but it's nice because they give you a free they don't pay you. Instead, they give you a free item from the Microsoft store, and it's like you can choose from a list of items.
I would like a Series X.
Like I've had
I'd like the Xbox fridge right here.
it depends on how long you playtest for. Like I've done multiple sessions, and like typically I get a copy of Windows for free or Microsoft Office for free, but I've had a friend go and he's done 3-day long play tests where it's
Oof.
like 8 hours each day. Like he played the entire Halo 4 campaign in play tests, and he's like, it was off. He was like, it was fun, but it was also terrible because half of the dialogue wasn't even finished recording. So it's like you had two characters like talking and there's no audio because they never finished the audio recording, or there's just no music in like some of the scenes because they're still not done with
And
the
that just
game.
goes to show like how much goes into making games or just
Mhm.
software in general. When like the developers, like you said, are sitting there, they know probably what's going to break, but there's a whole host of stuff and interactions in games where they could be like anything could happen. You could fly out of the map, the system could crash, something in the
Yeah.
game could catch on fire.
They one time I played a game. It was they were like, we're not going to tell you what you're going to play. They sat me in like this room, and it was like a living room kind of setup, except they had cameras everywhere and all this stuff. And they were like, we're not going to tell you the game you're going to play. You're just going to play it, and we're going to take notes. I'm like, okay. And I started playing it, and it was a game where you build your own game. The game ended up was being announced at E3, called Project Spark.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this sucks. like this is not fun at all. And I like they're asking the entire time, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun are you having? I'm like, 1. And then like maybe half an hour later, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun are you having? 2. And then like 30 minutes later, 1. Like they're asking me like, what was your favorite thing about the game? Like literally nothing. This was not fun at all. Like it was not a good game. Um and then they announced at E3, and I'm like, oh, they actually went through with it, and then the project got canceled. I think. So it just there's that, and then also Fable. I did another one for Fable, and then that got canceled as well. I've played a lot of games that have been canceled.
So like beta testing is one of those things where it's like, you know, you're going in to probably have like just maybe some negative experiences, but you kind of hope that it's going to be at least somewhat fun. But I also beta tested Project Spark, and I was like, this is just kind of unfun Little Big Planet, but like more complicated and I don't know, less engaging and less cute.
Mm-hmm.
But like on the outside, how often do you guys go into like new software or new hardware and give it some leeway based on bugs? Because it sounds like Apple is really good at monitoring their bugs and responding really quickly. What's your guys' take on like new untested technology and bugs? How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I still can't talk about some of the things that I've tested because of ongoing NDAs, but I can just say that you know, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Never mind. I won't answer the question. I'll let Tim or Roy.
I had a friend. This was back in 2010, so I can talk about this. But I had a friend who his dad used to work for AT&T, and his dad got this Android phone that he was testing out, and I don't know, it was from, I think it was either from HTC or LG, but I kept asking him about it because it looked really crappy, and like he showed me the phone, and it just had like a logo on the back, and it had a barcode, like a sticker barcode on it, and I was asking him about it, like, what? And he's like, I can't tell you the name of the phone. I'm like,
Oh.
and he's like, I'm beta testing it and it's awful. Like he's like, he hated Android. He was like, this is the worst experience on Android I've ever had. And then immediately after he was done with it, he went and got an iPhone and was a full iPhone person. But then years later, he switched back to Android, and I asked him, I'm like, what like what made you switch back? And he was like, I don't know what that Android phone was, but it was awful. Like he's like, but like compared to the new other Android phones that he was using, he was like, that was the worst Android phone I've ever used.
Hmm.
So I can tell you, because I know my NDA expired for this one, but
Oh.
I did a survey online pretty much, and it didn't really say what it's for. I had kind of a theory of what it was for, that it was from Google. But it was literally like, how do you surf the web? How do you talk to people online? Do you use Gmail? Those type of things, and I did it, and then like 6 months later, like nothing happened. Like I didn't hear anything, so I figured, oh well, I guess I wasn't selected. And then my mom called me and said, "Hey, something showed up at the house for you," because I always used my parents' address as my residence for mailing and stuff. And so I literally ran over there, picked up this giant box, and I'm like, "What the hell is it?" I opened it up, and it was like it was a black computer, had no writings on it whatsoever. It looked like it was a MacBook. Like it literally looked like the original black MacBook, but it didn't have the Apple logo on the outside of it. I'm like, this is weird. This is crazy. And so I was like, I don't even know what this is. There's no packaging, there's no nothing on it. And so I opened it up, I plugged the power into it, I put it on the table, I opened it up, pushed the power button, and then literally pops up and it's the Google logo.
Oh.
It was the first early edition of the Chromebook. And it was before what Chromebooks are right now. It was really different from what Chromes are right now, kind of. But it was a very early stage of Chromebooks. And
I imagine that was
like
garbage.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
I mean,
but
the
we had a
current
lot
models
of
are really bad too.
The current models. I mean, I'm going to say Chromebook isn't really good right now, but it wasn't very good back then either. Like it was literally like you have a taskbar on it now, right? At the bottom.
Oh God.
Yeah,
I think so.
believe so.
This early version was literally like the Chrome browser loaded on it. That was it. And then you had if you opened a new tab, there was lots of different icons on there for applications. There was no start menu, there was no nothing. There was a little like Wi-Fi toggle button down on the bottom right-hand side and stuff like that, but that was about it. Like there was nothing. So it was pretty garbage at first. Just to say, it did improve over time, and then I got an update that literally just killed it, and it was dead. Like,
did you have to send it back? Did you get to keep it or something?
No, I kept it. I don't know where it's at. But literally, they set out a software update, and you downloaded the software update, and it killed it.
Jeez.
Like you were done. Like you were done from the program. And then, a few months later, the Chromebooks came out, and they launched the newer version of the Chromebooks, what the Chromebooks are now. And then whatever they're calling it, Chrome OS now.
Yeah.
So that was one of my first early beta testings that I did. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, if you ever get an ad on the internet and want you to fill something out to try something, you can always try it. Because
how do you get onto those? How did you get onto that list?
I don't remember. I honestly don't. I think I was selected because I had a Gmail account. I had a Gmail account before anybody else had a Gmail account because I was on the pre-list for that as well. And then, eventually you could buy them off of you could buy invites off of eBay. but I had it even before that time. So, you know, I still have people that send me email wanting my email address. But yeah, like for the long time I had this weird, it was this weird web browser that didn't have a logo in it or anything like that, but it was just an email of the early forms of Gmail. And then it was interesting to see it transform into what it is today, because I saw it back when it had no look whatsoever. It was pretty sketchy looking. You would open up the application and not know what it is. So yeah. Those are my two things. I don't know how I got the Gmail address. Honestly, I can't remember. It's been so long. But I think that I was selected in there to try the Chromebooks because I originally had a Gmail account. And I probably I'm assuming I might have just applied. I read an article or something and applied through a website for Gmail is pretty much how I probably found out about it. I am on a lot of beta testers, so my test flight is full with beta testings. Like I test 1Password, a bunch of those services and stuff like that. So I just encourage people to get out there and test new things. I've tried to get on the Twitter beta for a long time, and that's one of the betas that I've never been able to get on, that I've always wanted to be on, because they do new crazy things. They test new applications, stuff like that, you know, and stuff. So, but yeah, so
I think with any of the major companies like Twitter or Facebook, YouTube, whatever, the like beta programs that you can get into tend to not be broken, at least from them. But like some of the smaller companies or smaller tech companies that build hardware or something, I feel like you go into those with a sense that something is going to break. So I'd be curious how like regular people, because we're all pretty tech savvy here, so we can get into a situation where something kind of breaks down and we can maybe Google search it or go on forums and figure out how to get around certain problems. But I don't know what less tech savvy people might do or how angry they might get. Like if Call of Duty broke down tomorrow, how many people would be super angry because they couldn't figure out maybe how to get back online or something like that.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
Very
did
curious.
more recently. I did test Google Digits. So when they launched Google Digits, there was a website that you could go try it, and I tried the beta version of Google Digits before anybody else. So I had a free digit line, and I still had it after they launched. I had it free for like 2 years, I think, or something like that. And then they started charging you $5 instead of $10. But yeah, so
Was Google Digits, that's not voice, that's some separate
sorry, not Google Digit, T-Mobile Digits.
T-Mobile Digits. Okay. Gotcha.
And I think it was just that you had to be a T-Mobile customer. I do remember, I think they called me though to set up the line or something like that. Like they had to call and verify who I was and stuff like that. And then they sent me a like a login request to reset password for it or something like that. And then yeah, I wanted to say that was something on it. So, I mean, you just keep an eye out for things, you know. Sometimes you find things on Reddit, you know, and stuff like that, you know. There's a big thread of like just beta links for iOS software on there, and I think there's probably one out there for Android too. Android, you have to be a little more careful on what you install though, because it doesn't go through the security testing. I mean, not that the betas do on iOS, but they go through an automated testing. So just want to be careful what you download for a beta software on Android versus iOS.
Especially if you're downloading APKs from a website that doesn't look legit, if it's not from the official, if it's from like Reddit forums or something like that, want to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah. So, anyways,
So we got through the Activision firing and the Better.com firing. Was there anything else you guys wanted to throw in there?
I don't think so.
Okay, and
Let's briefly talk about the Life 360. Did you guys see that article that I posted in the Discord?
Life 360. I did see
Yeah.
it.
So the owners of Life 360 have been reportedly selling location data to its users, to just about anyone. It is crazy.
Big sigh.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get
Um,
away with that. Well, I know how you get away with it. I don't know why you would. It's just a
Well,
matter of time.
It's interesting because they bought Tile, or Tile bought them. I think they bought Tile, which, if you're not familiar with Tile, is like, uh, it's like it's like an AirTag basically, but it's automated via Bluetooth rather than the proprietary Android, Find My network. But I mean, I yeah, I'm AirPods, or excuse me, AirTags for
AirTags.
life. AirTags for life on that. And I'm literally going to get rid of my Tile because that's crazy. I do have a Tile. But yeah, if you have Life 360, you should really think about that because they're selling your data. Just about anyone. So
Not surprising. More and more non-Apple companies giving people more and more of a reason to switch to Apple to protect their privacy. Just
it's just like, I mean, it surprises me how much of our data is already out there, and that's why I don't have a free email service. Like, I don't use gmail.com anymore. Even though I have a gmail.com address, I don't use it because I don't want Google to be reading my emails and pushing off advertisements about it, and stuff like that. So I pay for a premium version of Google Suites, which doesn't have ads and stuff. And I do the same for my wife, and we don't use things like that because I don't want my emails to be read and taking off cues out of that. So yeah, you should really think about your privacy if you use Life 360 or a Tile. Do any of you guys have Tiles?
nope. I didn't think that they really offered much stability. Like the product seemed cool, but I never
I got one on a
heard.
Black Friday sale for like $10. So I was like, oh, I'll try it. And then I tried it and I'm like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Bluetooth, I always looked at that. I mean, the idea is cool, but Bluetooth isn't really super far. And I'm like, if I lose something and I'm not close enough to where Bluetooth can read it, what's the point? So I just
Yeah.
I never gave into that. You're
Okay.
Can't
muted.
hear you, Roy.
How's that?
We
Good.
can hear you now.
I forgot that I muted myself because my furnace kicked on, so nobody had to hear my furnace blowing. That's why AirTags are completely the way to go, is what I'd said.
Yeah, they are. So, anyways, there you have it.
In that case, we want to give a big thank you to everyone here for joining us live on this episode of the Gooplycast, and a big thanks to you if you're listening to our podcast. Look out for our replays on YouTube and the podcast version of our episodes on all of your favorite podcasting apps, including iHeartRadio. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, so that way you'll get notified when we go live with the show, and you can join in. And also for when we share new tech-related content. I've been your host, Matt Carter. For Matt, Roy, Tim, and Joseph, we appreciate you so much for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Gooplycast.